So, why would an American company enter into the international financial markets? A couple of lectures ago, we talked about hedging and we talked about speculation. And being the two main reasons why someone would enter the international financial market: to hedge or to protect themselves against some type of change in the future, or to speculate, to make money through what we call arbitrage. And so that's what we're going to be looking at this week. Arbitrage is simply taking advantage of the ability to buy low and sell high. So you can do that with currency. If you buy it in one place and sell it in another, maybe you can make money. And so there are several types, there are 3 different types of arbitrage that you could look at. Local arbitrage is probably the simplest one, in which you look at the differences. Different banks or different markets are selling a currency at different rates within your country. For example, if Bank A is willing to sell British pounds at where 1 pound equals 51 cents, and Bank B is willing to buy British pounds at 1 pound equaling 52 cents, well, you buy 100 pounds at Bank A, it's going to cost you $51. You then take those 100 pounds to Bank B and sell it, and you're going to make $52. So by buying low and selling high, you made $1 profit, right? Dollar may not be a lot, but you get the drift, all right? The next type of arbitrage is what we call triangular arbitrage. And as the name implies, there's a 3-way trade here. So basically what you're looking at is, are exchange rates between 3 different currencies different enough so that you can make some money? For example, if you were in New York and you knew the pound price of $1 or the dollar price of a pound, you could buy British pounds in New York, take them to the London Exchange, change your British pounds into pesos, go take your pesos to Mexico City and turn your pesos back into dollars. There is, if the exchange rates are sufficiently different, you can make some money on that, right? But again, you would really need to make sure you knew what the exchange rates were. The third type of arbitrage is what we call covered interest arbitrage. And this means that you could invest money in a foreign money market securities at the same time, knowing the interest rate and everything, and at the same time buy a forward contract to sell the currency so that you could work lock in an exchange rate now for when your money market matures, buy back your currency and make some more money. The way the covered interest arbitrage would work would be, for example, if you knew the interest rate in England was 4%, and you have funds available for 90 days. You want to invest them. So you could take your money, say you have $800,000, turn them into pounds, and let's say you could get 500,000 pounds. At the same time, set up a forward contract in which you're going to sell pounds in 90 days at the same exchange rate. So 1 pound equals $1.60. So that's how you got the $800,000 into 500,000 pounds. In 90 days, you're going to receive your 500,000 pounds plus 4% interest, which is like $20,000, 20,000 pounds, excuse me. So you receive 520,000 pounds in 90 days. So you immediately sell that 520,000 pounds at the same interest, at the same exchange rate. $1 pound equals $1.60, and by converting back, you receive $832,000. So you've made $32,000 in 90 days. Well, what would have happened if you had taken that $800,000, realized that in the United States during that 90-day period, the U.S. only was paying 2% interest? That means if you had invested your $800,000 in the United States, you would have only made $16,000. So with this covered interest arbitrage, because interest rates were different, you made twice as much money, right? Seems like a pretty good deal, right? The one thing you have to be careful with when you're looking at a covered interest arbitrage is that investing money in this way is going to cause both exchange rates and interest rates to change in both countries. Now, we end up with something, a theory called interest rate parity. Now, I know this looks confusing, so let's take a kind of a step back here. What the interest rate parity suggests is that there is some equilibrium state at which interest rates and exchange rates will keep adjusting so that covered interest arbitrage is no longer workable. All right. And that's what this graph here is showing you. It's a little complicated. But if you look on the vertical axis, what you are measuring is the I is interest rates. IH is the interest rate at home minus the foreign interest rate. So that's a percentage, right? And along the horizontal axis, we're looking at the difference between the forward and the spot rates, right? And so there is this 45-degree line that runs through the origin, and that's at interest rate parity. If we have the interest rate differentials and the spot and forward rate differentials along this interest rate parity, what we see is anything to the left, any interest rates, you could have a positive difference but have a forward discount. That wouldn't work from the home perspective. All right. If your below to the right of this interest parity, then your covered interest arbitrage would work. All right. So there are lots of things that go into deciding whether or not investing internationally is a good thing. We have a couple of other theories which look at how the markets adjust when money is moving internationally. The next theory that we look at is the purchasing power parity. What the purchasing power parity suggests is that a free working market will change the prices of goods internationally. And so that in a free working market, people will choose to buy the good where it's cheaper, whether it's domestically or foreign. And that if the domestic price is cheaper than the foreign price, then everybody's buying it from our home, right? So if everybody is buying US-made cars because they're cheaper, that's going to increase the demand for US cars, decrease the demand for foreign cars. So the price of foreign cars is going to drop. The price of US cars, because demand is now increased, the price of US cars is going to go up. And can you see how the price of cars is going to equalize? Now, there are two forms of purchasing power parity. An absolute form, which simply says, if you look at the price of two goods in two different countries, they will move to become identical when measured in a common currency. All right, so it's not going to be the pound price of a car equals the dollar price of a car. No, but if you measure them in terms of dollars, yes, they will both equilibrate. There is also a relative form of purchasing power parity. And the relative form tells us that the rate of change of prices of goods should be similar when measured in a similar currency, as long as imperfections, things that may be different because of international transport costs, tariffs, things like that, remain unchanged. Yeah. So basically what we're arguing here is that, yeah, when you take into account different issues, prices should go to equilibrium. In theory, the purchasing power parity theory makes sense. That changes in demand will cause prices to change, and they should balance out, and all those things. But unfortunately, it's not that easy.